onto the cameras. So, like I say, don't forget to use your code. You might want to use it today. Now, I have to say, what I'm showing you today, which is a brand new release that I just loaded on the website last night, actually. So I don't think anyone's probably seen it. This will not be on Hobbymaker tomorrow, so this is exclusive to Polkadoodles. So this is not going to be seen anywhere else, okay? And I've been dying to show you these for a really long time. So if you remember, can I show you? Do you remember our gorgeous pretty flowers dies? This is a die release, by the way. So I don't know if you remember our gorgeous pretty flowers that we did in the summer garden release, which lets you cut all these beautiful flowers. And there is a whole other set that goes with this, which is what this new release is. And North Yorkshire Tracy. But we didn't quite get them in time to go with the summer garden release, and also that release was so huge I kind of wanted to hang on to it. So this is the Pretty Flowers one. Now we don't have a huge amount of these left, okay? They were so popular because, as you can see, they're just so pretty. So that's Pretty Flowers one. So I'm going to put them back, but they're all going to work together. So today for you, I have 5 brand new flower dies. Okay, now these are so hot off the press. I don't have samples, but I actually wanted to show you. I wonder if I can. No, I can't mess around. I meant to actually show you the photos of them on screen, but I forgot. But anyway, after the live, go to the website and you'll see all the amazing samples the girls have been doing. I've got photos, but I don't have them with me. I literally have one. I have one sample that I'll show you. But we're going to make them, okay? So I'm going to make them all up, and then you can see what they're going to be. Right, okay, so let's go with number 1. These are in any particular order. So number 1 is this one. So this is called Pretty Starburst, and I've called it Flower Centers, but it isn't. It's so much more than this. This design, we've kind of done this in lots of different things over the years, and it's kind of been, I've changed it slightly, obviously, but this design is, you know, kind of when I'm designing stamps and things, you'll often see this shape in stamps. So it's something that's recurring right through our range and the brand of products. But to finally have it in dies is just fab, and you're going to love what you can do with these. We've got new packaging for these. Whoops. Let me see if I can get my TV head on. There we go. So you can't really see it on the camera, can you, very well? So basically, these are going to layer up. So it's these kind of, you can see what I mean. So they're like this is why I call them like a starburst, but they're like a stamen sort of. You can lay these up. They can be snowflakes. You can do all sorts with these. As you can see, you're going to get 3. This is 1 die. So on this collection, do you know one of my pet hates? You know, like I just, on this collection, I've joined the dies. Now, some people like that, some people don't. I do, because I just get fed up of losing them, really. So anyway, that's Pretty Starburst. That one there. Okay. So next we have this one. Now, this is gorgeous. I think, I don't know, I haven't got a favourite because I actually love all 5 of these. I can't make a choice. So this one is called Delicate Daisy. So you can see this die is joined up, so it doesn't come separated. It's really easy if you want to separate it. I actually just bung this through my cutting machine like that, so that I don't have to mess around with all the separate pieces. Yes, fireworks. Sorry, I knew there was something else I hadn't said. Fireworks. Sorry, the screen keeps going a bit dark, but the sun keeps going in and out, and when it comes out, it's very, very bright. So I've actually pulled the blind down, which is why it's a little bit dark. So next, we've got this one, this strange looking one. These are all called Pretty Flowers, by the way. So it's the Pretty Flowers collection. This is the Pretty Anemone. And you can see how long this stem is. I actually measured it yesterday, and this is 5.5 inches, this stem. So you can see the flowers themselves are all about 2 to 2.5 inches. So you're going to love this one. That's gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. What can I say? This one, I have a feeling this might be some of the design team's favourites because I seem to have more samples of this than some of the others. This is Pretty Blossom. So this is gorgeous. I have to say, forgot to tell you. Okay, this one, I have called this Pretty Daisies, Delicate Daisy rather. This is also a poinsettia. So, and I designed it that way, okay? So that's why you have this shape of leaf to go with it as well. So this is definitely a poinsettia, but it's also a daisy. So dual purpose, that one. And all these are actually dual purpose, and this is kind of why I'm releasing these now. You know, you might think, oh, it's a little bit late for these, summer's kind of gone. These are all going to work for Christmas. So this is the Pretty Blossom. You're going to see what I do with that, but this is gorgeous for Christmas as well, to make this. I mean, at Christmas, when you're doing like your little I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my God. Honestly, menopause. Yeah. Sorry, it was because I was reading comments. I need to stop. What was I saying? Oh my God, the age, honestly. Yeah, when you're making Christmas, like, flowers and, you know, you're doing your little, not wreaths, your little bouquets in the corners of your cards and things. If you're doing them for Christmas, don't just have red flowers. It looks amazing if you can mix like creams and whites in there as well, and even greens and things. And that's what all of these have been designed for, to actually kind of give you a dual look, but also that you can use them all year round. There's nothing worse than buying a die and you can only use it like for one thing. Christmas roses, that's it. Thanks, Tracy. That's what I'm trying to say. Christmas roses. And then this is the final one. So this is number 5. Now this one is lovely. So this basically cuts out all like little frames, and this is called Petal Whispers. Now this is gorgeous. So what have I done with it? Oh no. Oh, it's here. Card. Okay. So this is Petal Whisper. And again, this is, oops, you can see this is all connected. And you've got a little leaves here at the bottom, and then you've got a little swirly bit, which is really nice, and your leaves at the top. And then around, you've also got, where am I here? You've also got, oh, I'm struggling with me back to fronty. You've also got the centres as well. So, you know, you've got extra centres, circle centres. What that's going to make, so this, I'm sorry, but this is the only card I've got. So look at this. How gorgeous this is. Rachel did this for me. I think it was Rachel. Oh no, Natalia. Sorry, Natalia. So basically, you can create this. Look how much dimension there is. Oh God, I'm rubbish today, guys. Look how much dimension there is on that and how delicate that is. It's so pretty. But this also is going to work with all the other dies as well. So you'll be able to layer this up and, you know, kind of use them with the others. Right, okay, let's crack on then. So I'm going to just put these to a side. I've been die cutting this morning to try and kind of make sure I had some already done for you. So I just kind of want to show you what I think, well, what I would kind of create with mine. Okay, so let me zoom in on that a bit. So let's go first of all with, oh God, grab some paper for a start. Bit of scrap. Oh, I've been tidying all my craft space up. I've got some extra storage. And it just doesn't work, does it? You think you have these ideas, and you know, you sort of think, you see something, you think, oh, that'd be good for so and so, and then by the time I get it, I've forgotten what I bought it for, and you know, it's all just a bit of a disappointment. Right, so oh, I've got two of those. I was being rude and double cutting. Okay, so this is the Delicate Daisy one. So you can see these are a good size. They're like a good 2 inches, 5 centimeters. Yeah. So about 4.5, 5 centimeters each, which is 2 inches. Okay, so that's your die set. If you don't like these connected, these do separate really easily. How I must confess, if I do them, I do actually get a pair of pliers and do them, just purely because if you hold the pliers, I'm going to just see if I can show you this. If you actually hold it with the pliers right up to the die and then just twist, can you see I haven't got a sharp bit on the die here? It's actually given me a really, really clean snip. I find I used to be a bit lazy and do this with scissors, and it just doesn't work. So what you need, and actually, do you know what? The times, these are actually jewellery pliers, I think. So the nice little round-ended ones. But even if you use big chunky pair of pliers, if you're going to do it, please do it with the pliers, because it just makes it a better snip. If you do it with scissors, I find that you get like raw edges and you have to cut that off. Look at that. It's absolutely clean, and that's because I've done it with the pliers, because this can be quite sharp. Where's it gone? I mean, these actually aren't as bad. I've had some before that are not as good as these. These ones are quite safe, but obviously, you know, make sure the dog or the cat can't get these little bits, or little kids as well. And if you craft with any little kids, I would say, you know, just be careful, because these do bend, you know, because obviously those joins are quite thin. So as you're using them, they do bend. So if you are using any, you know, got any children crafting with you, just be conscious of that if you're leaving those joined, because they can actually snap off, because they are designed to snap off. I'm just going to keep mine on. Right, so lecture over, Nikki. So I've already, to save time, because you don't want to see me die cutting, do you? I've already cut tons of these. So I actually cut these on, and this is my preferred way of die cutting. I know most people use coloured cardstock, and that's fine, that's great. I actually like to cut mine out on white, and the reason I do that is because then I can actually blend with my inks. I can get a really nice, and I didn't sort these out, so I have no idea if there's 3 flowers. And you also get little centres in here, which are actually embossed, which are really cute. So don't throw them away, because they're really cute. So I actually double cut these. So I had 2 pieces of 170 GSM card, or 160 GSM. In fact, I used our Ultimate Graphic for it, I'll be quite honest. I use it for everything. I put 2 through my cutting machine at the same time, and then I just separate them because I'm lazy and I want it fast. So how shall we do this? I think let's make these into, well, let's just show you how versatile they are. So I'm going to use my little stencil brush, my detail brush, which is now back in stock, by the way, guys. So we were out for quite a while, and I just like to do the centres and maybe just blend out a little bit. I can tell that's a different flower. And these have all got embossing on, so you've got all the definition on the petals. Gorgeous. And then that one's a different one as well. Not that it really matters, to be honest, but it just gives you gives you a little bit more of a cohesive look. So then all we need is a bit of glue wherever my glue's gone. Let's make it what I've done with that. Wow, oh there. That's what happens when you tidy your desk up. Okay, so I'm going to use this one as the outer one, and literally, now obviously you can shape these, you do what you want to do with it. You know, some people like flatness on the cards, so you don't have to pay the extra postage. Completely up to you. I love mine all dimensional and flicked up, I must confess. Look at that, how pretty is that? Where's my thingy? How pretty is that? Let me get a piece of, let me get a piece of card. We'll put them on here as we finish. How pretty is that? Isn't that gorgeous? Just so simple, but just super, super pretty. And then I've got, like I said, I've got these little circles, which, because I double cut these, they're all stuck together. It came off quite nice and easy, actually. And then I think I'm going to go yellow in the middle of this one. So just to finish it off, and I'm trying not to get dirty fingers. I know I am gonna, but let's put a little dab of glue there. Obviously, you know, you can use your pin flare or your 3D glue, however you want to do it, really. So I'm just gonna press that down so that it dries, and oops, just move that around. Come on, Nikki. I don't want it all lined up like that, do I? Right. I've got quite fast drying glue here, so and it's because I put way too much glue on. It came out a little bit. I think it needs, oh gosh, I'm all over the place today. Right, okay. So one flower down. Okay. Really pretty. So let's just see what it looks like as a poinsettia, shall we? Because like I said, this is perfect poinsettia. Let's go. So I've got festive pet berries here. And a different brush. In fact, sorry for all the commotion. I am bringing in this because I'm already getting in a mess. Okay, so pokey tool. I don't want red ink everywhere today. So in the middle, and this time I'm going to just go a lot more intense with it. I think this is the first time I've ever even used this ink pad. So that's just quite like it looking kind of washed out on the ends, to be honest. Oops, come on. Gotta get your act together. Let me see what the other one is. Let me try candied apple. Oh, that's better. Right. Where's that lid gone? Right, so that was festive berries, which is a little bit pinky. Kind of a bit corally. So let's go, yeah, I like that one better. But it's nice to actually mix the two, to be honest. Isn't it? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in my picked raspberry. And I'm going to just add a little bit of pink in there too. Okay. Right, I'm going to have to undo something I hadn't done. Oh, my sponges are rock hard. Oh. Oh my God, I can't live without it. Oh, hang on, I've got one here. This is why keep your sponges in a bag. Oh, these are nice clean ones that I'm keeping, look, but I'm going to have to use it. Gonna have to, I can't get away with this. Right, okay, so and that's why you need it. Okay, so again, just a little dab of glue. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hold it in my hand. And I'm not shaping them because, like, we haven't really got time, to be honest. I've already spent too much time on this one. Okay, another little dab. Twizzle them round. Get my leaves. Now the leaves you can use, you know, on any of them. They're all going to work together with the leaves, so don't worry too much about mixing your leaves. And I might bring a different colour in there, a bit of a darker green. Oh yes. My rustic wilderness. So that was mowed lawn. So let's just do a little bit of rustic wilderness in there. Now poinsettia leaves are actually quite dark, aren't they? Like they are like this sort of wilderness bluey green, but look how nice it looks to just combine. If combining two colours together completely lifts it and just gives it a bit of a just more of a nicer look, I think. So now look, when we actually start to put this together, let me bring this in. So I would actually build that up a bit more and put a few more of those on. But look how it suddenly becomes your poinsettia. Now, if I go into, let me see. So if I go into the pretty blossoms here, and we have some like more ferny kind of leaves, and in here, just take that out, with on the pretty blossom, you actually have this tiny little flower centre, which is kind of like a stamen. That's going to look perfect for the poinsettia. Oh. So I'm just going to bend that. Little dab of glue. And now it kind of looks poinsettia. You know, obviously you don't have to do it like that, but looks really nice. But these leaves are great as a poinsettia leaf. So, you know, you could just easily do that. Then with your ferny leaves. Again, just the same 2 colours. And then this can then start to build up and you're starting to actually get that Christmas look. So these are all about sort of building together and everything. Right, okay. So have you got a favourite? Who's got a favourite? Did I tell you, by the way, I'm going to give one a whole set away today. So enter win in the comments, and at the end I'll pick someone, and someone is going to win all 5 sets of dies. So someone, if you've just joined us, lots of you here today, so someone's going to win all of this lot today, all of it. Yay! And that is worth, these are $8.99 each, so not 5 9s 45, so £45 there. Enter win in the comments, please. And don't forget, you can also get 15% off your orders today if you use the code LIVE15. Right, so that is the dewberries. Oh, crikey, Nikki. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Oh, never mind, guys. Never mind. Right, let me just put these away so I don't get in a right old tiz more than I am already. So let's move on to a different set. And what I'm doing, I'm kind of want to basically show you how you can make, how gorgeous these are all going to look when you combine them. So the end goal is kind of, let's make a bit of a wreath or something, or a little bouquet kind of thing. So let's, because I've already been using it, let's get on to the pretty flower, pretty blossoms. So that's this one. So pretty blossoms is this. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And where have they gone? So again, I've already cut a load of these. So with this, you actually get 4 different size petals. So that gives you lots of options of how you can combine them and use them together. So now what I'm going to do, so this is where my thought about, you know, using white for Christmas. So it's like Christmas roses, as someone said before. So just take your brush in the centre. Let's go with 3, I think. I'll show you how it was planned, and then if we want to add more, we can. So that's 1, 2. What's that one? Just a little, and this is why I like doing them in white card rather than coloured cardstock. I think you get a completely different look when you do it in coloured cardstock. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in with the mowed lawn. I don't know what I've done with my brush for that. Oh, there. Okay, so I don't want a lot of this, so I'm going to rub it off. Just it's just a hint. Okay, so if you look at the centre of flowers, even when they're yellow, they always have a little hint of green from the chlorophyll. Is it chlorophyll? Yeah, I was going to say chloroform then. It's chlorophyll, isn't it? So just kind of come in, and it just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And then I'm going to grab those leaves again, those gorgeous big ferny leaves. Let's have a couple of those. And there's the little ones. We've got 2 sizes of those, so I've got small and large. And then I'm going to keep the leaves quite light on this one, I think. And what I love about, if you just drag it like this, you kind of get that blend. Look. So just looks like it's two different colours of ink rather than you kind of like doing it together. Oh, hello, Kim. You're a pearly lovely. Kim's in the US, everyone, so what time is it over there? It's only about what? Between about 7, 8-ish, something like that. Thanks for joining us. So that's these ones. That's these ones. And then all I'm going to do is just going to get me. Where's my thing gone? No, do you know? Don't. It's not a good idea to blooming redo your desk just before you do a live, is it? Can't remember where I put anything. Anyway, I'm a bit off centre, aren't I? Don't know why I'm going over there today. Okay, so let's just shape it with my creaser. And this end of this creaser, because it's this shape, is perfect for rounding your flowers. That's why I made it that shape. I think I've got 2 flowers in this one. Anyway, never mind. So, another little dab. Just wondering whether, no, I was wondering whether to add another layer in, but I won't. Now, it's up to you how you do these. If you want just 2 or 3 layers, you can do that, obviously. It's completely up to you. I think I might just leave that with 2, you know. In fact, I'm not. What I want to do, so this one, I'm going to put that one on there. So cute, that little flower. You can't really see, can you? That's better. You can see what I'm doing a bit better. Okay, so this one, I want another layer at the back. So I'm going to do 2 layers of that back panel, which is the largest one. Probably don't even need to do that on that one because nobody's going to see it. But anyway. Oh my God, look at the time. It's 20 to 1 already. Wow. Do you know, I don't know about you guys though, but I love making flowers. Absolutely love making flowers. So, let's, oh God, my glue. Right, okay. Yes, that's better. Just takes, if you only do it with that one layer, I mean, it's up to you. I just feel like you kind of end up with that, oh, I need to just turn things. It's all turned. Stop it. Get them there. That there. Yeah, you just, I think you kind of can end up with like pointy bits if you don't do that middle section, if you know what I mean. Now, if you wanted to, you can make that really full look. So look, if I actually came in and put that in there, look at how full that rose is. It's, for a card, it's maybe, well, for what I'm doing, I want a little one as well, so I'm going to keep those 2 separate. But you can see now how they're starting to all work together and build up. So can you imagine if you had like a few of these and then you have like your little white Christmas roses next to it? This is now, take that out, that's completely Christmas, absolutely Christmas. So, you know, that's, and get your little leaves going and everything. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right, okay, so that is the Pretty Blossoms, that one. Oh, so organised there. Okay, so God, I need to hurry up. Okay, so let me show you this one. So this is the Starburst. I'm going to just zoom out a little. Oh, look, I've left them behind. Never mind, leave them there. Okay, so your Starburst. So absolutely this can be fireworks. Again, make sure you go and look on the website and look at all the beautiful samples the team have made, because these are absolutely stunning. And I think it was Rachel has done a firework card, and you just need a congratulations. Be fantastic for a New Year's card if you send, Happy New Year cards. So what I did with these was, again, I've cut them in white, but equally I wanted to just show you how these kind of like also look gorgeous when you're cutting them out of cardstock as well. So let's see what we can do with these. So first of all, this is the smallest one. In fact, let me just zoom in again a bit. Okay. So if you actually just push this all up like this, and then you use that, look at how gorgeous that flower then becomes. Look at that. That's so pretty. Look, can you see the dimension on it? I haven't actually, in fact, I'm going to glue that on. In fact, no, I won't. But it's just stunning. Let me see if I can show you better on a different angle. I think I've lost the side angle. There we go. There we go. That's a good picture. Better than the other picture. So look, can you see? That's better. Look at the dimension, even though I've not glued this down. So look how pretty that actually is. Sorry, I was wondering why I wasn't getting a good picture on the other camera. But how pretty is that? That is absolutely not Christmas whatsoever. But then, if you took your red daisy, you could still make it very Christmassy by doing that. Or what you could do is use, and I haven't separated this, it's got two in. Even if you used it with the, let me put that down a second. With the white ones, these are in doubles where I've double cut them, so, but look. So whether you used yellow, orange, whatever colour you use for the centre, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, it really elevates it. So think of using all these dies work together, and really I would have liked them to be in one big set, but I want to make it affordable for people. Not everybody can afford to buy a great big set. Some people might only have £10 a month to spend on craft stuff. So that's why I kind of do this separate. Do these separate. See, look at that. Look. How gorgeous is that? Isn't it stunning? And then again, if you put the white one in, I mean, I love white on white. I just don't think you can beat white on white. I mean, it'll look better if it's poked in. Let me do that one. I'm trying to get that. It's a bit fiddly because I've got 2 layers of cardstock cut. Hang on. There it is. Got it. I didn't have time to separate that one out. Let's just put a little dab of glue in the middle there. The glue's leaking everywhere. Honestly. So let's just stick that in. And that is just going to be enough that it's going to what am I trying to say? Elevate. Now, I did just have a little idea. So what I'm going to do is, if you've not seen our stencil butters yet, oh my God, you're in for a treat. Have we done a live with these yet? I don't know if we have, you know. We must have done. But these are amazing. So, absolutely stunning. Now, what I'm going to do, let me switch camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab that, you know, like a chef does a quenelle. These are so thick and dimensional, these stencil butters. Oh, gosh, that looks gorge. Oh my God. That camera's rubbish close up. Ooh, where are we? Going there. Look at that. How nice is that? So that's going to dry, and it will remain. It'll keep its dimension when it's dried. So that is the butter frosting. So, but look at. Can you see how much frosting I've put on there? Look how dimensional that is. It's like having an actual stamen, like a big thing of pollen right in the middle of your flower. That's stunning. I love that. That's gorgeous. So that's going to give you more dimension than like your tonic drops and all of that. Right, okay. So, Christmas roses. I need to do that on the other one now. Let me, oops, not with that thing. I want to make a match. So, this little one. Can you hear the birds? Honestly, I wish they'd show off. I love birds, but sometimes they start getting on my nerves. We've got an elderflower tree right outside the window, and it's up to the top of the window, and it starts getting a little bit much when they're sitting there chirping, talking to each other. They do talk, I tell you, they have proper conversations. Sometimes I have to tell them to shut up. Right, okay, so that's that. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you was, to show you was what happens then when you also start to add those starbursts to other things as well. So you can start kind of, let me get a white one. You know, you can layer these up. These are their own flat. I haven't even shown you. These are, oh gosh, we could be here all afternoon with flowers. Right, let me separate this out. Let me just shape it. I've got these made somewhere. Why aren't I showing you the ones that I've already made? Okay, right. Here's one I made earlier. It's got a little bit damaged now, so it's been messed about with quite a bit. I'll just lift those up. So, how pretty is that? It just kind of, you know, elevates it to something else. So, a little bit of, again, I'm going to do white on white. I've got twos here. It's all going to fall apart once I lift it up. So, just two in there looks gorgeous. And then so don't forget, Live 25 gets you 15% off your order today only. So it runs out at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So it's 24 hours only. So again, how pretty is that? Look at the dimension again. You know, it just, oh, so pretty. And then, you know, bringing that in with your Christmas poinsettia, whatever you want to do with it. Gorgeous. So that's your starburst. So you can see how everything's starting to work together. And this is a flower on its own, guys. Look, you know, add your leaves to it. And it's just a really unusual, pretty flower. So gorgeous. So we're starting to make like a little bouquet, aren't we? Let's put them there. I need that leaf there for my poinsettia. You know, we could still bring in the purple, the pinky one. You know, fab. Isn't that fab? And look, these also are just great on their own. They're like great as little fillers, look. You know, maybe a different colour, maybe not orange, but lovely. Right, so then we've got 2 more left to do. So I'm going to fast track to the, what's this one called? Petal Whisper. Okay, so this one, I've already kind of made this one up. Look how delicate this is. So once you actually kind of start adding this, then we get into some really, really nice layers. So, you know, you could, oh gosh, sorry, the camera person is sacking today. There isn't one. So look, just layer that in. You know, I'm not saying you're going to make this, but if you did want to make some kind of a Christmas decoration or a wreath or something like that, then it would work so nicely. The whole kind of idea of this, in fact, let's make one of these. Oh yeah, because I did it in, actually, yeah. So what I did earlier was inspired by Natalia's card. So let me show you that again, how pretty that is. Look how pretty that is in that gold. Isn't that gorgeous? That's such a simple card. And that, you could make that a Christmas card, couldn't you? So if you just did a nice inky blend, blue inky blend at the back, or red, and then just kind of like did your gold or did it in white. I've done it in silver, you know, so it's just lovely. So these will work really nicely, even if you just pick these little ones here. And if we went to, say for instance, this one. So look, I don't know if you're going to see this very well. You could actually, oh, that's so pretty. Don't think you can really see it very well in the light. That's really pretty, just as the centre for that starburst, because it works so well with it being that outline. Or what you could do is do it the other way around and use these as the background for your starburst, and then you've got there's so many things you can do, so many different combos. So look, hang on, it's difficult for me to show you with not gluing anything down. How nice is that? That's gorgeous. And then, oops, slid. And then that on top. Maybe not in silver and white, because it looks better in real life, I have to say. But you know, if you did that in a different colour, fab. So that's your Petal Whispers. Okay. And then the final one, which is why I'm shortcutting, because I have to get to it, because I love this one. And don't lose all these little bits. There's lots of little circles on that die, and they're all the centres. So, and like little berries, you could use them as little berries and things like that. So don't throw all those pieces away. So the next one, the final one, is the anemone. Not the enemy, the anemone. Okay, so that's this one. This is lovely. So, sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can zoom out a little bit. There we are. Okay, so this one, again, I've cut a couple here. This is really pretty. So you're going to cut all your pieces out, and basically you end up with this, which is really lovely. So again, layers, but slightly flatter layers this time maybe. And you're getting all of these little individual pieces. So you're getting 2, 4, 6, there's actually 8 dies in this set. You know, so, but you can use it however you want. You get 2 main flowers, look, which just work together. That's all you really need. And it gives you that kind of more of a, you know, more of a face on look. So let me show you how that comes together. Bring in my craft card so you can see it again. So, and look, that's how that is. And then what you're going to end up with, I haven't cut my stem out, let's, because I want to colour this up. Look how pretty is this. And then you've got, you haven't got leaves on this one, okay? So there's no leaves because you can use the petals as the leaves for this. So let me show you how to make that look that lovely. So, again, I've got 2 of everything. So, all you're going to do with this, let me see, I need a different colour now. I like this in the purple and the blue. I think it looks really nice. So let's go with that. But again, you could do it in Christmas colours if you wanted to. Completely up to you. You do whatever you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to get my shaded lilac. And just like we did with the others, I'm just going to do that in the centre. So now again, this one's but they're all embossed. Okay, so you've got all the lines and everything in there. Okay, and I'm going to come in with some peacock blue. Actually, not peacock blue. It's a bit dark. I don't want it that dark. Salvage patina. I can hear lots of little clicks and things, but I can't read what you're saying right now. I will go back through the comments after the live, and if there's anything, if you've left any questions for me and everything, I'll go back through. So remember, enter win in the comments if you want to be in the draw to get all these dies. Someone's going to actually win the whole set of dies today. So £45 prize today. Don't tell Chris. These have only just gone on the website. And like I say, these aren't going on Hobby Maker. These are or any other shops. These are only for us. So you're only going to get them on the website. They are. I don't know whether we'll reorder them if they sell out. Maybe we will. I don't know. It depends how popular they are, how quickly they go. Okay. So in fact, I will put just a little bit of that in the middle. Okay, just to. And then I'm just gonna do all the inking whilst I'm here. That's it. Okay, whoops. Again, I've got 2 stems, never mind. How can I get in such a mess just doing this? Okay, so we've got our stem. Oh, let me just grab the other bits. Okay, so there's this little tiny bit here. crikey. Oh, I'm having to just use the doubles because it's taking too long. Okay, this bit needs to be green. So this is the bit that sits at the top of the stem there, like that. Okay. And then where's all the others? We've got another little piece here, which is also a petal. And then another little piece here, which I'm going to do in yellow. Now, this again is really versatile, and you can put this, it can go together in numerous ways. Okay, it doesn't have to all be done the same way. Now, like I said, you can use the petals as leaves as well. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, a little tip for you. When you're using a light green like this, which is mowed lawn, if you just add a bit of yellow to your greens, or add a green to your yellows, it'll always work because green is derived from yellow. And what it does is it kind of gives you a bit of a softer green. So I'm going to just add a little bit onto that there. Kind of makes it oh, I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, I'm not going to go there because I can't speak today as it is. So I want a bit more purple on my flowers. Don't think my blending's not very good today either. I think sometimes I should just give up and not bother. Right, let's get rid of that. Clean my fingers. So I'm going to do just a little dab of glue here on the stem. And then all we're going to do is just, where's my thing gone? I want to just shape this. And then you can kind of position it and work out where you like it, okay? Because there's no right or wrong. They finally put the fires out, but the peat's still on fire though. It's yeah, they're saying that, but it's not. It's not really. So these can kind of go in lots of different positions. So you decide where you want it, how you want it to sit, how, you know, whether you want that piece at the, to me, that piece is like, I want it facing towards me. And then this one, I think I like it. Oops. You can, let me see, how did I do it before? Yeah, that way. I like it that way. And then kind of that way. That's it. Like that. That's it. Like that. I'm sorry, I just had to get my head around it. I haven't got a picture. Yeah. So that's how I like it. So I'm going to just dab my glue in there and we'll just get that in position so it doesn't move again. You're tempted to put the smaller petals on the top, but actually it can go either way, it doesn't matter. Now what I'm going to do is just grab some scissors and I'm just going to trim these two leaves. The nice thing about this one is you can actually decide what you're going to do before you even assemble it. So let's stick that on there. This one, like I say, is that piece actually is the bit that goes under, is it the calyx that goes under the flower? I can't remember what it's called, that piece. And then now we've got, didn't cut that very well, let's round that off a little bit. So now we've got a leaf there. And do we want another leaf? Could do. Can cut that down even more. So look, we could put that one going up, or that one, if we actually shaped that one, we could have that one coming towards you, which would look quite nice, I think. So let's just have that bent towards. Oops. I would actually ink the back of that as well, but anyway. And then this one, I think we'll put that, yeah, put that one behind. Because remember, you know, if you're making cards, which most of us watching this are, I think, you know, nobody's going to see the back of this. So it doesn't matter how you've constructed it at all. And then we've got this little guy here. And I'm going to have to separate that because that's going to fall off of it. There we are. So this one then kind of sits in the middle. Oops. And there. Or you could have it the other way around. In fact, I'm going to do it the other way around. So that's like another. I'm making this look really fiddly and it's not. It's just my big fat hands. And then you've got your little stameny bit or your pollen bit. Again, take that off. Is going to sit there like that, more or less. Now again, that could, if I'd have done that in purple, that would have just been another leaf. That's fine. But I want to just have that little bit of yellow in there. So I think that's all about glued now. Yep. How pretty is that? Let me go to the better camera to show you. Oh, so nice. Isn't that pretty? You see, like I bent that one. So I bent it, so now it's going to come forward on my card, but I would ink underneath there so it doesn't show white when I was making a card. So, you know, but it just kind of adds that little bit of dimension by having things popping forward a little bit more. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you imagine just that on one, you know, slimline card? Just, oh, it just looks so pretty. Let me show you. Oh, wow, look at the time. So pretend this is a slimline card, guys. It's very blue, this one. But look, that's all you need, isn't it? That with a little sentiment on it. Oh my gosh, that's so gorgeous. If you're selling your cards at a craft fair, you'd be able to charge a £5 for that easily. Easily. Make it in a shadow, make like a little shadow box card so it doesn't all go flat. £5 there, straight away. So look, that was the one that I did before, which I actually prefer this one because I got more more liking. Look, you can't just to show look as well. Look how nice that is when you actually layer it with a couple up. Now, obviously, anemones are very delicate anyway, but look at that. Oh, that looks really nice, you know. You can't see it there on the screen, but in real life, that do doubles. Do a double for sure. Oh, that's so nice. And then look, the other thing that you could then do, where have they gone? Put them away. If you really wanted to. You know, don't forget that you could bring in, if you wanted, something like that. And actually, you could even layer that within. You know, these make great layers on their own or kind of combined. So, yeah, it is a good size, Fiona. Yeah, great size. These are all sized. This is why they're not too big. These are all sized so that they're going to work really well on any card size. So look, this one, you know, this is the biggest flower that we've got, but it's still going to work well. You can layer 2 or 3 of these upon a card without it being too big. You know, your daisies, you know, again, you could put 3 of those down the centre if you wanted. You know, you've got your little ones, you know, obviously you've got the little ones as well, you know, but they're all going to work beautifully together. And then look, these, you know, I would, for me, with these pieces, they're like layers. So, like layering them underneath the other bits and pieces. So, you can do so much with these. They're gorgeous. And what I really love, and it worked out really well, my whole thought process was how we're going to be releasing these in sort of August, September. So, how can I make flowers that people can use in the summer, but also in winter and autumn as well? And that's why they're like this. So, you know, I mean, hello, how pretty is that? Just like that. You know, you don't need anything else almost, do you? You know, there's, just, you can go on and on, can't you? Love, 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 love. And then don't forget, with these ones, you know, with your starbursts, again, whoops, that's a whole flower, Nikki, what are you doing with that? You know, with your starbursts, look how nice it looks if you, again, just add those. These are like little embellishments. That's the word I was looking for. Like a little embellishment that's just going to add a little bit more. Look at that. Oh, how pretty. I mean, I could just sit here all day and play with these flowers. I really could. I just think they're absolutely divine. I really do. So, that's those. So, just to remind you as well, don't forget. Oh, yeah, I need to just. Right, here's a couple of hints and tips for you. Whoops, hang on, bear with me. If you have not yet got, so first of all, they're going to work with the Pretty Flower 1 dies that we were talking about right at the beginning. So make sure you get Pretty Flower 1 because it's actually part of the same collection. And this also works for Christmas as well if you do that out of your different colours as well. Or again, as your white Christmas roses, okay? And in that collection, you'll find those in the Summer Garden collection. You also need and I don't often say you need something, but I think you need this in your stash. This is a little die set. There's 3 dies in there, 3 different sizes like this. And this is the leafy fronds. If you don't have that, you need it. And this is why, because this just works with absolutely everything. It doesn't matter what it is, what kind of flower it is, whether it's Christmas, whether it's, you know, Easter, whatever. The leafy fronds are just an absolute must have. They're gorgeous. They make anything look, you know, when you've got a space and you're like, I need something else in there, you need leafy fronds. And then also, this die is our Super Sprigs. Now, we've had this forever, Super Sprigs. It was one of the first dyes we ever actually brought out. And I've done it in white there, but in fact, let me just ink that to show you what it looks like when it is grey. Super Sprigs is another must-have for me. We've reordered it numerous times because it just keeps selling out and selling out. It's a small dye, so it's really cost-effective and cheap. And it's just another really, really useful little addition. And as a filler, you know, when again it's like the leafy fronds, these dyes are the ones, the foliage is often the one that makes things stand out. And if you don't have the right foliage dyes, your flowers don't look as nice. So, you know, like you can have your leaves that go with your flowers, but it's these pieces are the ones that are key, that really elevate everything and lift it. So, you know, these, your starbursts, they're going to elevate and lift it as well. Maybe not in orange. But, you know, you just, it's, oh, anyway, I could go on forever. Let's do the draw, shall we? So, before I forget, I'm gonna leave that in front of me because it's better than looking at me, isn't it? There. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. So, what have I done with my dyes? So, remember it's these. So, that's your Petal Whisper, your Pretty Blossom. These are all called the Pretty Flowers collection. Pretty Blossom, your Delicate Daisy Poinsettia, the Pretty Anemone, and then the Starburst. So ultra versatile, all of those, absolutely gorgeous. So someone is going to win these, all of these. And right, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to put win in the comments. Anyone would love to receive a card made with these flowers? Yes, they would. I think it just, yeah, really nice. They look so much better with white card and inked rather than coloured card. I think so too. I really do. Yeah, when you kind of, this is flat because it's coloured cardstock. It's flat. Now, what I would do with this is I would ink this still. So, for instance, let me just show you the difference. So we've got that one. So that's the flat one. This is this one. What I would do, obviously it's orange. This is what I do if I do use coloured cardstock, which isn't very often. Which would you rather have? That's the difference. Flat, not flat, interesting. And that's the difference. So if you do use coloured cardstock, I'm not against it. It's just me personally, I like white. I love white. White highlights everything and makes everything stand out. You know, like where we put a black border or we put a matte layer on everything. That's what white does. So, you know, it's a necessity for me, I think. Look, I left this gorgeous one out. Got nowhere to put that now. And this one. Oh, look, you see, look, even if you were making just a summer card, a birthday card, you know, forget Christmas. You know, or you could just put, oops, see, look, I'm faffing. It's not very, I mean, it's like got everything but the kitchen sink on here, but, look, you see there, because this is quite dark, look, because this is a much softer one. Look how nice that is. Oh, yeah, bad composition, Nikki, but, you know, never mind. You could still do that, though, couldn't you? Could go there. Got a bit much in. Still works, though. My leafy fronds would make that work better because I'd fill them. Oh, there it is. This is what I mean about leafy fronds. I told you I'm going to keep playing. I just can't stop. So look, pulls everything together. That wants to be a bit further up, but anyway, yeah, going a bit busy. Right, okay. Let me pick the winner. Wow, lots of comments. Thanks everyone. Hope you've all loved this. Hope you've loved the collection. Like I said, this is brand new. So let me see. Okay, the winner is Mom to Create. Mom to Create. Well done. You've been randomly selected. Can you? I think you're on YouTube actually. Can you email me website at polkadoodles.co.uk? Just oh look at that. I've got like a little pattern there. That's so cute. That'd make a nice background. Can you email me website at polkadoodles.co.uk to claim your prize, please, and I will get this sent out for you. Remember to send me your email. Well, I'll have your email address, but send me your snail mail address. Yes, Mom, to create is you. You're our winner. And don't forget, everyone. Live 15 will get you 15% off the whole collection. Like I say, it is brand new. Literally only put this on the website about 6 o'clock last night. So 5 dies, £45 minus 15%. I think that's quite a bargain actually for what you're getting there. Chris looked at me and he went, £8.99, is that all they are? And I was like, yeah, you know, but that's because they're only available here. They won't be going on Hobby Maker, and they won't be in any other shops. They won't be at Simon Says or anywhere. So just at Polkadoodles. So go to the website. There is a section there. Just click on they're on the front page. And if you go in, then there's a link that takes you into the gallery. You'll be able to see all the gorgeous, gorgeous. You should see the samples. I'm annoyed that I didn't actually print them out. Yeah, just go and have a look because they are absolutely stunning. And thank you for joining me. So before I go, I must remind you, in case you weren't here at the beginning, so we are on Hobby Maker tomorrow. I'm not, but Sharon Curtis, who you will all know and love, she is doing the show for me tomorrow. So she will be on at 2 and 7. There are bargains galore. And also, I'm trying to think what's new. I'm trying to think what's going on there. What's on the show? Do you know? I don't know. Can't remember. I'm all over today. What's wrong with me? I actually can't really remember what's on. Anyway, nice things. Nice things. There's some things that you might have missed that are back in stock as well, I think. It's just a mixture. It's a big show. There's a lot of stuff on. So make sure, I mean, both hours are very different. So not the same products on both hours. I would shop ahead because you know what? The last few shows have been like everything has been selling out within 10 minutes. So shop ahead. Remember, on Happy Maker, they have this really great system. A lot of people don't quite understand it. But basically, as long as you order between midnight and midnight on the same day, you can order anything and just pay 1p&p, and you can check out as many times, and all those orders then get amalgamated together, so you only pay 1p&p. And also, because it used to be kind of more of like an auction site when it first started, they still do things kind of in that format. So when the show starts, or like for instance tomorrow, don't do it today, tomorrow, if you go on the Polkadoodles brand page and whatever's on there, whatever the price is, say it's the price of £10, and you think, oh, I want that, but I can't watch the show, and it might get reduced. Don't worry about it, because if it's on the show and it gets reduced, you will only ever be charged the reduced price. I don't know how they do it. They have a really great system. So, but basically, it doesn't matter what you pay, if that price is less on the same day, when that order is then checked out at midnight and amalgamated together, you only pay that low price, the lowest price. So you can shop knowing that you will never get ripped off, basically. So that, you know, that annoying thing, it happened to me last week. I bought something and the next day it had plumbing been reduced by £5. But then you kind of like, oh, I don't want to send it back because by the time I've paid for that to go back, it's not even worth the hassle of it. But it's annoying. So Hobbymaker, make sure that doesn't happen. Vanessa Smith-Rundle, what's Hobbymaker? So Hobbymaker is a TV channel here in the UK, but you can also watch it online. So hobbymaker.tv, is it hobbymakertv.com, I think? Hobbymaker TV. And you can shop online and you can also watch it online. So it basically is a 24-hour shopping TV channel in the UK. You can watch it. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading some of the comments. Yeah, so you can watch it online. The videos and the actual live hours where we go into the studio, which is what I would have been doing tomorrow if Sharon wasn't doing it for me. They're available for 2 weeks on the website, but then you can also, they're recorded and put onto YouTube anyway, so you can watch them forever. They're quite hard to sort of find things. But if you want to look back on some of our old shows, Vanessa, if you look on the website, we have a whole Hobby Maker section. And when we do a TV show, I try and actually put everything in that section so that all the products, so for instance, tomorrow's shows, all the products will actually be in the Hobby Maker section on the website tomorrow. So that you can, if you do want to shop with us instead of Hobby Maker, you can buy all the products and all the bundles and everything on the Polkadoodles website. But we do not have a lot of stock of most things that are going on TV tomorrow. So there might be like literally 3 or 4 on the website, if that. Some things we don't even have. So, yeah. So, thank you all so much for joining me. It's 1:30. We've been an hour and a half. Gosh, that's what happens when you start crafting with flowers. They're so gorgeous. Thank you all so much for joining me and all your comments. I'm going to go back through and just read them all. And if anybody's got any questions, you can just email through to website at polkadoodles.co.uk or go on the chat on the homepage. And we'll answer you there if it's easier. Mom to create, make sure you email us or contact us through the website chat. Well done, congratulations, you're going to love these. And I just saw you're going to do a layout, so make sure you share that with us because I can't wait to see it. All right, I'm going to go grab a drink now because I can feel my throat starting again and tidy my desk up a bit and go and make sure that everything's sorted for tomorrow. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will let you know when I'll be back. Oh, I'm supposed to be doing, I might be doing a live on Tuesday. But I haven't sorted the time out or anything yet. But because Sharon's doing tomorrow, I might do Tuesday. So yeah, I'll do a project on Tuesday evening. So then everybody will catch it. So let's say 7 o'clock Tuesday night, English time. So that'll be 2 p.m. if you're on Eastern Standard Time, and it'll be 8 p.m. if you're in the EU. So 7 o'clock Tuesday, I'll do a live and I'll do a proper project because we haven't done one for a few weeks. See you there. Okay. Bye. Thanks, everyone.